So really, we want to deal with that issue today, and we are going to flow the way we flew yesterday. First thing, we're going to be having a presentation for just like 15 to 20 minutes because of time on entrepreneurship skill set by Mrs. Yusra Alaya. After that, we're going to take a short presentation again on agricultural value chain. In between that, after those two presentations, I'm going to give us some brief about the thinking of the federal government vis-a-vis the job creation. Then we're going to set up the panelist session that will take us like 1 hour. We have nothing less than 5 panelists already waiting. And the way we went yesterday is going to be purely interactive. You ask any question, anyhow, in an informal way, and you get your answer. So after that, we go for our lunch. Then when we come back, we have our syndicate group, then we can close. We hope we should be able to do that between now and 4 o'clock, inshallah. So I'll not waste time. I'll call on Mrs. Yusra Alaya to come and give our presentation on entrepreneurship skill set, a means to job creation. She has been privileged to look at the document from the presidency, and she was able to pick out some of those things that we might need to discuss. So bismillah, sister.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's really a great privilege to be part of this wonderful program. And I must say, for those of us who were here yesterday, it was indeed a program short of nothing but excellent. It was really a fantastic package. We all had a good time. We were properly informed. We were guided properly in line with what is actually happening right now in our country. And then we had a discussion in line with what the federal government is planning in this recent administration or this present administration. So I think it's really a wonderful event. And I'm so happy that we have this number of people attending this program. So my name is Alaya Yusra, and we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship, a means to job creation. Then we'll be looking at the skill set as a case study. So according to this document from the federal government on strategic framework and implementation plan on job creation, it was recorded that 25% of our labor force is actually either underemployed or unemployed totally. And I think this is a huge percentage for a quarter of our labor force not having anything to do. These are people who are actually willing to work and who are able to work. And unfortunately, this is where we are. The economy has been growing for the last decade, and we are still really we are where we used to be. The growth in the economy did not really correspond with the improvement in employment. So what is actually going on? Is it that they are not doing enough? Is it that jobs are not being created? Or is it that people are not just being in the right place at the right time? What is actually going on? So these are the things we need to actually look at. And then the death of Nigeria unemployment crisis actually weighs more on the Nigerian youth. So I think it's a serious issue, and this is why this program has been put in place, so that we can address this and see how we can tap into what the current administration is actually focusing on. Okay, I didn't remember to mention about 2 out of every 5 youths are actually either underemployed or unemployed. So looking at this graph that we have here, we are saying that from the same document still, we have 27% of Nigerians without primary education, labor force, not doing anything, or probably underemployed. And then we have 29% staying of Nigerians with secondary education, basically those are educated, not employed or underemployed. And then we have Nigerians with other level of education. We mean people probably primary education or certificates in computer and the rest still underemployed or not employed. And then we have, from here, we have the females, 32%. I was so excited yesterday when I saw women more than men. I was like, okay, this is a good starting point. And if we can take laws into our hands, it's going to have a great impact to reduce this percentage. And I think what we still have more women to men ratio right now, and it's really encouraging. It's saying so much about what the future is going to look like. So if we can continue in this perspective, I think we'll be able to work on this percentage to reduce it better. So we have 32% at the moment females who are not employed or underemployed, and then we have the 23% of males who are not employed. And we have 30% rural areas. In this rural area, contrary to what you think of what contrary to that, we have more people unemployed in the rural areas compared to the urban areas, it gives up 21%, and then the burden still lies on the youth, still 38% unemployed or underemployed. So now, talking about job creation. Job creation through youth empowerment keys into the present administration's economic development efforts. Nigeria is presently, the present administration is talking about creating 3.5 million jobs, and we are looking at we still looking at 500,000 of these jobs into teaching, and 500,000 of the job also into social works, and then the remaining 2.5 million of these jobs into entrepreneurship. I think the population we have here today, we have a whole lot of chance, opportunity to key into that. 2.5 million is big enough to accommodate us. It's just us hearing the right thing at the right time, being in the right environment at the right time, getting to be among the right people at the right time, and then we can tap into this opportunity. 2.5 million jobs, I think it might look so little compared to what we need right now, but I think it's something that's going to get us somewhere. So if we look at it, it's the government is thinking of four sectors. It's thinking of allied, it's thinking of ICT, it's thinking of all sales and retail, and then construction. I think one way or the other, whatever skill we have should be able to key into any of these four. So I believe we have a whole lot of opportunity around that. And then what the government wants to do now is that it's going to create a conducive business environment for entrepreneurs to thrive. Do you know that worldwide, it's actually a fact now that the main employment generator is actually through SMEs or entrepreneurship. So if that is actually what is brewing or breeding entrepreneurship, employment rather, I think why not? Why can't we just be part of it? It leads to empowerment, it gives you a better life, and it does a lot when it comes to the economic growth. And we are talking about how do we improve our country. So we have enough opportunity now to see what we can do about the present state of the country. So now, please indulge me. There's something I'd like us to do. If you do not have a pen or if you don't have a paper, I'd like you to just take your phone. For those that are presently employed, everything we discussed yesterday, the whole thing pointed at entrepreneurship. We are not here to actually play, we are here to get results. We are not here to lecture anyone. We are not here to just listen and leave. We actually want to start something. We want to start having results. So you must have had one thing in your mind. If you're presently employed, there's something in your mind that you've been thinking about, oh, I think I'll be able to do better with this. It could be a new idea. It could be that you want to develop on someone's idea. So what is that thing that you think a special skill you have? The skill might actually not even be special, but it should be something you've been thinking about that, okay, even after employment, after retirement, or right now, this is what I want to do. Please write that thing down. It could be a sentence, it could be a word. Please, I would like you to write. Everyone, please write something. If you do not have a paper, if you do not have a pen, please get your phone and please write it out. It's just going to take a minute, and please don't be surprised. I might call on you to tell us what you have written. So please, just have a minute to think about that thing. What is that thing that you want to do? Is it a business idea? Is it a skill that you have? Or is it might be hobby. You never can tell. It might be the best idea so far. So please, think about that thing. I'm waiting for those who are not writing. We are not here to play, please. We are actually here to achieve results. Okay, instead of calling on people, I'd like 2 people, 1 female, 1 male, to please share whatever they have written with us. Okay, excuse me.
Actually, what I like doing, and I find out it's working for me, is that while I was coming up, my mom is into food selling. So I've got to know that come to war or anything, you must eat. After eating, you must drink water. So my mom do that business, and I like it. So I think food and water.
That's an excellent one there, and I'm sure you all will agree with me that his thinking is actually right. Who does not eat? Who does not drink water? So if your business idea, or whatever you think you want to key into, is food, is water, I think it's one of the best ideas anyone can come up with. Please, a woman now. Do not let me call you. Please volunteer. Thank you.
My name is Bilkis. I have an idea of a business, as in pertaining to household. In our homes today, we use, there are items that we use them with, like soap, any other thing that you know you use every day. If you are a female, if you like cosmetics, you know you use them every day. You know you buy them, those things you used to buy. Anything you know you spend money on every day on a daily basis. I think that's also supposed to be your own. You have to have the idea of making such a business.
Thank you very much. I think from these ideas that we got, she's talking about household items. It's also our own business she's looking at doing, and it's wonderful also. These are things people get to relate to. These are things we get to use every day. So why we did that activity is that before the end of this presentation, you guys are going to look at where you are now. So now we have all taken the first step, identifying that thing that you think you might want to do later on, or probably almost immediately when you leave here. Taking the first step is very key into starting any business or any thing you want to do. So now we've taken the first step, and then we'll see where this step takes us to. Thank you very much. Those that contributed. So this is the outline of what we are going to be looking at quickly. So we have what is job creation, approaches to job creation, youth empowerment, entrepreneurship. We have qualities of an entrepreneur and advantages of entrepreneurship. Okay, so quickly we'll look at what job creation is. Basically, job creation is just creating new jobs for those who are unemployed. If you are unemployed, I think this is referring to you. And now that we have taken a step, you're about to create your own job. You're about to create a new job. So basically, we are looking at creating new jobs for those that are unemployed. That is what job creation is. And then we'll talk about the program. This kind of setting also is an empowerment, gearing us into what we can do in creating jobs. And then we have job creation programs or projects undertaken by people in order to assist citizens seeking jobs. So who says we can't do it? So when we talk about job creation, we are looking at this lineup here. It provides a new job, it creates more paid jobs, and then ultimately entrepreneurship. It may not actually be only entrepreneurship, but it eventually leads to entrepreneurship. For those who are presently employed and who would like to become an entrepreneur someday, this is also, but ultimately, entrepreneurship seems to be the key thing in job creation, which, like I said earlier, worldwide it is the main employment generator. So why not pay more attention to entrepreneurship? Now, we are looking at different approaches to job creation. First is government spending stroke stimulus. The government had already promised that it's going to help create a enabling environment for businesses. So if we are looking at this environment, we are looking at government bringing up more projects that you and I could, after we've started our businesses, can say, okay, this is what I do, and I will like to come into this, maybe government had given a contract out, this is what I can do. For example, we have our secretariat buildings. If they decide to renovate the secretariat building, definitely we're going to be in need of tilers, there'll be in need of plumbers, in need of painters. If we are skilled in that aspect, why not? And I think credibility is coming in gradually now. It doesn't have to be who do you know, who do I know, must I know somebody before I can get it. It depends on what you can do. If you are proving very well that this is what we can do, that's where Nigeria is going now. So I think we have more opportunities. So if government should come up with projects that they invest in, it helps us also to have opportunity it helps also to create more jobs. So now we look at the second one, government legislation and monetary policy. For right now, I'm sure you agree with me that the present monetary policies or fiscal policies is not really encouraging businesses. People are actually so scared now to put their money into something, into investment. But with the right policy in place, it definitely would encourage investors. You would want to do business. Well, investors are coming when you are doing businesses. Definitely you need to hire people to carry out all these things for you. And by doing that, you are actually creating more jobs. So if we have the right monetary policies in place, it will definitely lead to job creation. And then we have the market share approach. This is the approach whereby you and I are ambitious, and then we decide to have our own businesses. We decide to go into easy entry industries and markets, and then we decide to become our own bosses. We decide to have our own businesses. So this actually leads more into entrepreneurship, not really employability. Now you have more entrepreneurs and SME businesses or business owners breeding out of here. And then we look at youth empowerment through new ideas. Here we are looking at innovation, creation, invention, and then investment. We need to look at, okay, someone said, I think it was Alaji Adio yesterday, that what we are missing is that we want to just develop what is already on ground. But I think if we identify new opportunities, if we have new ideas, it's going to go a long way. It's actually a very difficult, but it's the most effective way to create long-term jobs. So if we can key into this, get people of like minds. We are here together now. This is a community. And we can identify me as, oh, she's good in this, he is good in that. Why can't we just come together if we have like minds? And if the idea is almost alike, why can't we just come together and then see what we can do? So new ideas actually, it's actually another way to create jobs. And then we're talking about youth empowerment. Youth empowerment is a process where people are encouraged to take charge of their life through self-discovery. We have taken the first step now. We are beginning to discover ourselves now. What is that thing we can do? What is that thing I can do? This is what I think I do best. So because of this reason, I've decided to do this. People consume food every day. They take water every day. They use cosmetics, body cream, and all that. And because of that, I've decided to say, okay, let me go into this. So that is a way. You are discovering yourself now. You're discovering the need for you to go into entrepreneurship. And then you take action to improve your access to resources and transform your consciousness. You can't just sit here and say, yes, I have written it. What is the next step? What are you doing next? It's not just, it's not just, it's not just realizing what you can do, but actually taking the step. And then you have to revolve your thinking, your beliefs, your values around it. It has to work. It has to come to life. You shouldn't die when you live here. And then we have types of empowerment. Please, I have 5 minutes. If I can just skip some slides and go into other things. Let me just say briefly. Psychologically, you need to be ready. Emotionally, you need to be ready. You need to be empowered. Okay, don't worry, you can do it. Don't say because you're a woman, you can't be an engineer. Because you're a woman, you can't do what men are doing. You need to just be sure. You need to be sure you're not mixing emotions with whatever business you are doing. You need to be emotionally stable. You need emotional balance to be able to do any business. And then we say community empowerment. This is one of the things we are doing. This is a community. We are letting you know that there's nothing impossible you can do. Dr. Popola said something yesterday. If you rule out impossibility in your mind, then where can't you be? That means you give room for so many opportunities. And then the community is just to stimulate, to help you think of it that, okay, these are the things you can do. And, oh, pardon me. And then the organization empowerment, and we talked about the cooperatives yesterday. It's a forum where you can meet people, and then you can meet people there, you get your funding, you talk to other people from that small cooperative or big cooperative, and then you can also meet someone who can help you fund your business. I have the idea, you have the money. Can we come together and collaborate and do something? And then we have economic empowerment. Yesterday I found out that Stanbic Bank is also halal bank, halal banking. They do halal banking. I never knew about it yesterday. I have been empowered with that information. It means if I'm looking for maybe a loan, for example, I know where to go, not only Jai's Bank. And I have, I think I had Mudori and the rest. So it means I have numerous that I can actually explore and make my decision from. If I go to Jai's, if it's not favorable enough, I can go to Stanbic. So it now depends on where I want to go and what I want to do. Social empowerment. We need to know also what are the permissive socially in Islam. If you want to do music, you want to be in entertainment, you want to be in media, what are the things you can do? You need to have that information. You need to be sure that, okay, yes, I want to go into music. What can I do? I want to be in media. What can I do? You need to just get the right information that will equip you to be in line. At the same time, you are not going against your religion and belief, and then you are still doing what is meaningful to you and what people can also benefit from. Then we talk about the cultural looking at we are Muslims. What are the boundaries you have? What are the things you can do? For example, basically, please, let me just rush it. Now, the main point, the entrepreneurship. First of all, you need to identify a need. What is actually that thing that is missing? What is that thing that we need? What is that thing that, okay, it's not like the market has been so flooded with, and then if I come out with this skill, or if I come out with this business or product, how will it do in the market? Will it do well? Is it that, let me reduce it. So you just need to identify opportunities first, and then you need to have the skill. It's not just identifying the need. Yes, we need to brand palm oil. Now, how do I do it? We need to reduce the cholesterol. The oil in the market now is rich of cholesterol, and we need to reduce it. Okay, how do we do it? People prefer to eat palm oil. So what do? If I do not have the skill in doing that, I won't be able to do anything in that aspect. So I need to have the skill most importantly. And then the resources, you need to find out how you just get your own resources, the allocation of resources, how your proximity to your resources. The other brother yesterday said something that you can't just have your idea and sit down. Looking for funds for your business is part of you taking a step to that for that business to happen. So you can't just sit there and not look for resources. Getting the right resources. Human beings are part of resources. Meeting you today might be one of the things I need to make my business thrive. And then we look at creating value. You need to create value around what you have gotten as an entrepreneur. Without value, definitely, who is going to patronize you? Or probably you have a good product, yet since you don't even value it well, of course, people won't value what you don't value. So now, and then the other brother mentioned yesterday also that in other countries or in other developed countries, they actually identify problems and then key into it. They don't just say, okay, this is what I want to do. She has a school, I want to have a school. So it is about you identifying a problem and then making that problem an opportunity for you. So entrepreneurs basically also see problems as opportunities. So why do you want to become an entrepreneur? It's a whole lot of work. It might look so easy. I want to become independent. I want to be a boss of my own. But really, are you ready? It takes a whole lot of skills. Like we have there, you have to be innovative. You have to be a creator. You have to be a leader. You have to be an impresario. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be visionary to become an entrepreneur. So now, you want to become an entrepreneur. So it means, yes, before you can sit down and relax like this, you must have done a whole lot of work. So if you have, you are the boss now, but you don't just become the boss. You have worked. But when you are starting, when you are an entrepreneur, you have to take all the decisions. You make the decision yourself. Nobody's making it for you. Now, depending on the business you want to do, you have to think of the right decisions you have to make at every step of the way. So whom do I do my business with? You decide that. How much do I even want to pay those that I want to work with? How long do I even want to work with? Days of the week, time of the day, how many days in a year, how long in a day, and all that. And then, yes, when you have enough and you're smiling to the banks, of course, why can't you just decide to take a vacation? If you're under someone, you can't wake up in a day and say, please, Oga, I won't be able to come to work today. I think I want to go to Florida. I'll be back next week. But when you are on your own and you are your own boss, it's easier for you to take all these decisions. And then being an entrepreneur, you have to be totally in charge of the business. From the concept, the design, to the creation of that product that you're making, to the sales, business operations, and the customer response. When you're beginning a business, you need to give it your all. You need to be the front desk, you need to be the admin, the accountant, the manager, everything. And you need to get the feedback from your customers. How is it doing? How are we doing well? If you leave your business to someone, you might think you have the same dream, but it is your own vision and it is your dream. You know how much you have put into it. So you need to be sure you are every step of the way and you do not miss out on any part of it until the business has grown. And then being in charge. Being in charge gives you the opportunity to build equity. Equity that is sellable, that's giving value to what you're doing. Equity that is sellable, that can be sustained. You can't just start it today looking at it, okay, in 5 years' time I would have collapsed. No. Because of your dream and the vision that you have invested in it, you won't want it to just crash. And then you need to see how you can pass it on to the next generation. So it needs to be sustainable. And then it gives opportunity to make contribution, first of all, to yourself. Whatever you are doing, you are the first beneficiary, either good or bad. You enjoy it first. And then you now look at how, yes, we are doing well, people are consuming this. The economy also gets to, local economy gets to enjoy it also. And then you contribute to society as a whole. And then we look at qualities of an entrepreneur. We say creativity. You have to be creative. You need to think outside the box. You are not the first person, for example, to make kuli-kuli. How the person in Gombe did his own kuli-kuli, added ginger, did the packaging from the hygiene and everything. It's not that it's nothing new. Kuli-kuli is nothing new to everyone here. But kuli-kuli with a difference, kuli-kuli with a standard, so to say. So I think you just need to see how you can be creative about your own idea, make it unique and make it yours. And then we look at self-confidence. When we talk about self-confidence, it means you should be able to stand anywhere. You know how much planning that has gone into that thing that you're doing. You know how much research you have done. And then it means you'll be able to stand anywhere and be able to talk well without being intimidated at any time about your product. And then we look at determination and commitment. Determination is a strong desire to see that that thing you are doing is successful. And then commitment is the action that you put into it to ensure that, yes, I am doing something. In my mind, I want this thing to thrive, but what are the steps I'm taking? And then flexibility, you have to be flexible. In case your market is changing, you have to change with market. You won't say because you have a provision store and the people coming to patronize you want a barber shop. And it's something you can do. Try and see if you can get someone to become a barber next to you, or else by the time they move, those people looking for a barber shop, by the time they move like half a kilometer away from you, there's another provision store there they can patronize. So if you don't want to lose them, think of how you can work it out. You can actually combine it with barber shop also. So So you have to be flexible, then dedication with passion. It's passion that has actually gotten you to where you are. And then you now need hard work to make sure it's successful. Being a leader, you have to be a strong leader. You have to be able to set goals. You have to be able to set rules and follow them through. And then sustainability. Because you have put so much into it, you won't want to see it crash. So advantages of entrepreneurship. I'm racing, please. 2 minutes, I'm racing, please. Okay. So now we have advantages of entrepreneurship, reduction in crime rate. I have just 2 slides, this and the next. So now, reduction in crime rates. When we talk about reduction in crime rates, idle mind definitely is a devil's workshop. So if you are busy, you've gone from morning till afternoon, you are tired, you want to do other things aside from what you have done in your office. So where's the time to have bad thoughts in your head? And then we look at encourages capital formation, rural development, raising standard of living. Of course, our life will improve. How many times have we taken vacation, gone on vacation with our family? Of course, probably because we are not doing as much that we earn on something, but if you have enough capital, why not? You can do so many things. And then we have reduction of unemployment, skills acquisition, and increase in productivity level. By the time you come up with this thing you want to do, if it is your own idea, if it is new, you need to build capacity around that thing that you want to do. And by so doing, you need to get people to do them for you by giving them these skills, and then the productivity level also increases. Then we look at wealth and poverty reduction. Then we look at reduction in rural-urban migration. People will definitely stay in the rural areas, and rural areas too also can get developed. And then we look at improvement in family life. Binocom is doing a great job. If the stars does not have money, of course, marriage will not come in. So the stars also needs to do something for this marriage to come up on time. We can date for 10 years, but if there's nothing to put food on the table, of course, what do we do? So I think majorly, it has a whole role to play on family life. And then now, you have written that thing you want to do. You have decided to be an entrepreneur. What is stopping you? You have taken that first step. That is what it takes. From here, I don't have time. I would have loved to ask you, what are you going to do next? Most especially those who I spoke with. So please, do not let it end here. The major thing is what you have done by writing out something that you would love to do and what you want to continue to do. So now that you have taken the step, what is stopping you? And then it's still the same thing, why not? So please, the references of the paper, and thank you.
You are not... You know, when somebody sustains a pressure, it's part of the act of public speaking. You need to learn it. You could get to somewhere, you've been programmed to speak for 30 minutes, and they cut it to 15 minutes. So for her sustaining that pressure, that's a plus to her, essentially. I would have said, if it's some of you, you would just switch off. I said, come and take your mic. I'm back. I don't even know what to do. So we appreciate the section. And it's for us to just set the ball rolling. We're actually going to the main business of today, which is essentially our panelist session. For those of you that were here yesterday, I think we enjoyed that section. Quite interactive. So we are not here to be taking lectures. Like he said, we need to start taking some action. We need to take some steps. So I will not waste time in inviting our panelists to come up here, 5 of them, and we're going to be discussing the entrepreneurship skill set, what we need to do to key into the federal government project. After which we can take some other 2 presentations, one on ICT value chain, the other one on agri, before we go to syndicate session. So that is the way we're going to go now. So can some people assist me to clear this? Then I have an information for us, please. The way we are sitting, don't let us sit like maybe we are in our sitting room. We are actually doing live streaming of this. And people are making comments, maybe we are just relaxing somewhere. So really, the way some people sat down, you don't know, people are watching you from different places. It's live on YouTube, what we are doing here. So please, let's just comport ourselves. And some of us that are sleeping, It may amaze you. They call you from your office. Are you not the one I saw at that program sleeping? So please don't think we are joking here. Really, we are not joking. There is a live stream going on this program. If you are sleeping, comport yourself. If you need to go and sleep outside and come back. It's better. So don't sleep on the chair here. I'm pleased to call on the panelists I have in the house. The first person is Brother Kasim. Brother Kazim is going to introduce himself. All the panelists are going to introduce themselves. That's what I did yesterday. To be followed by Brother Bashir Yusuf. Please come on board. Then Brother Uzain Oloyede. Please come on board. Sister Saidat Shonaiki. And our presenter, Sister Yusra Alaya. Please, those are the 5 people that are going to be rolling the next 1 hour together. They are all entrepreneurs. They have some things to tell you. They're going to introduce themselves to you. And we are going to see it practically. How was the journey? They don't just got here now. So please, can you come up, please, because of our time, sisters? So I think we're going to be having this section for 1 hour because of our time. Please, if you have been sleeping, kindly wake up. This section, we said, is interactive. Anything they have said that you need more explanation, you need to take notes. If you have any question on entrepreneurship, they are here to solve the problem. And definitely the way they will be talking to you is going to be from different background and perspective to the same issue. So there are going to be some collective questions, and from there we can deduce a lot of information that we require to move on. So I will start by asking them to introduce themselves, tell us their name, the business of entrepreneurship they are into, what they have done, and possibly a little about their academic and business background, so that maybe it can inspire you or you have a similar story to tell, inshallah. Let me start from Mr. Barrister Oloyede.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hussein Oloyede. I'm a legal practitioner. I have worked as a legal practitioner with a private legal practitioner here in Abuja. I have lectured in the University of Abuja, and I presently work as a regulator in the insurance industry. I work with the National Insurance Commission. So in terms of entrepreneurship, I think from private practice that I've done and that I still do, I think I have some little ideas about that. You said educational qualification. Like I said, I'm a legal practitioner. That means I am a graduate of law. I went to the Nigerian Law School. And I have a master's in international business and commercial law. I'm presently doing a PhD at the University of Ilorin.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Al-Qasim Abdelkader. Originally, I used to be a journalist, an international freelance journalist. But I discovered that I was doing it for a very long time and I was beginning to get tired. So I ventured into what is called social impact investment. In our social impact investment, I teamed up with colleagues and we came together and started social impact investment. Inshallah, today we've been able to invest in gas retail. We've been able to invest in fish farming. We've been able to invest in foreign tomato farming. And we have just received our license to operate a microfinance bank. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Bashir Yusuf Ahmed. I am a mechanical engineer by training. but I am an IT and telecoms professional. My foray into ICT began in '98 when I got a gift of a laptop. And from there, when I attended ABU, Ahmad Bello University, then we didn't have computer science, so I was stuck with studying engineering instead. So after that, I've been fortunate to participate in a number of telecom companies as pioneer founding staffs. After that, I've been able to found 2 other companies, one which I sold and one which I still operate. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I have an MBA in 21st century telecoms management and a series of other postgraduate diplomas in telecoms. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum once again. My name is Alaya Yusra. I am into education consultancy, and originally I read telecommunication engineering, but somehow, due to one thing or the other, I became a teacher, and then from there I took it up. I have a postgraduate diploma in education, and then in Montessori, in children and young people's health, and other ones basically. So I think that's just me. What we do is we train teachers, we do a bit of social enterprise, help schools, government schools, private schools who are struggling to have a standard and then to use the right curriculum. So we help them develop the right curriculum. We do curriculum integration, just everything about education, giving it a better standard around primary and early year schools. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Saidat Shonoiki, a born and made entrepreneur. Well, I graduated from University of Lorraine in 2002. I've decided I'm not going to work for anyone. Then after my graduation, I was turned down because I was doing job on my first day interview. And after then, I started my business with 10,000 naira. Today, I can tell you I have a feed mill with other investors of millions of naira. So I'm an animal nutritionist by profession, and I'm operating a male-dominated business. I run a factory. I'm the only woman in my team, on my team. So I deal with men. So, well, through all this ruggedness and everything, I've received some award because it's a woman. So I was nominated as one of the Young Africa Leader yearly program, the Obama Initiative. After then, I started a new business that I've loved to do, which is social entrepreneurship in agriculture. We have been saying agriculture. Where are the skills? Do we have them? So that's the point. So now I have an agricultural training center called Green Skills Center, supported by World Bank. I will continue to share my life journey with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you can understand the background they are coming from now. So you can actually prepare your question to fire it to any one of them. But before you go into that, I will do that like I did yesterday. I will fire my own questions so that at least to inspire some discussions. The federal government was very clear about what they wanted to do now. They said 3.5 million jobs. 2016 to 2018. Look at that statistics, 3.5 million out of 27 million existing people that doesn't have job. Why are we going to analyze that? Are we going to say that they have tried to take, is it a bold step? 3.5 million out of 27 million. Having at the back of our mind that every day we are still giving back. And I think an average of 500,000 is the number of graduates we have per annum in this country. So meaning that 500,000 is being added to the labor market in the next 3 years, and they are doing 3.5 million. So at the end of 2018, we'll have another added 1.5 million. Is that the right step to go? If that is the right step to go, do you think the strategy is right? They mention 4 areas that they want to create jobs. One, they say agro-allied, not even pure agriculture. Are you getting it? They mention construction from the document, construction industry, ICT and digital jobs. Then the last one is wholesales and retails. Let me go into a little detail so that we can actually understand what we are trying to do. In the 3.5 million, there's an aspect that they call social jobs. That is the Teachers Corps and Build Nigerian project, 500,000, 500,000. That is 1 million. That one is for people that want to seek employment. But they've called them social jobs because it's not going to be a permanent job. Are you getting it? Some of you that were here yesterday, we discussed it. Now let's come to the entrepreneurship aspect. Out of the 4 areas they are creating jobs, they've identified 2 areas, 2 key areas as what they call the economic transformers. That is the ICT and construction. They call them economic transformers. That is things that can actually transform the economy. Then the other side of it, the other 2, they call them job creators or job employers. That is agriculture and wholesale and retail. Now, if you look at the spreadsheet about the jobs that is going to be created, out of the 3.5 million jobs they are talking about, 2.2 million is coming from agriculture. 2.2 million of those jobs are coming from agriculture, and followed by construction, around 900,000. Then, followed by hotel and retails, around 200,000 plus, thereabouts. Because we are talking about smart jobs, it's not buy and selling. Maybe they are talking all sales and retails, maybe you are talking about like Jumia, Konga, that is one aspect of e-commerce. There could be other delivery and logistics value chain around that. And the least one is coming from the ICT. ICT and digital jobs, only 164,000. My questions to you, the panelists, is that having all this background and all this mix of the jobs, what is going to be your reaction to this? Is that the right way to go? If that is the right way to go, can you justify it with what you are doing now? What can you encourage people to key into among all of this value chain, and how? Please, just in 2 minutes, so that...
Assalamu alaikum. My thought is there needs to be practicability when you are discussing these issues. Alhamdulillah, I think the government has been sincere in telling us this is how little we can do. This shows us that there is still a wide deficit of needs that needs to be covered. And this kind of activity of encouraging people to be entrepreneurs would be what will cater for and cover this huge deficit that is left. We have been told by scholars that being entrepreneurs is a fardul kifaya, is a collective obligation for us. How does it become a collective obligation? We can see that this is a clear problem for our nation. This is a clear problem in which Muslims are on the receiving end. Because if we want to break it down and look at how has it been for, in terms of those who are unemployed, we will see that the Muslims take a large chunk of this percentage. And I'm happy that our brothers are telling us that this is the direction of governments. So if they are telling us that agro-allied industry is the direction to go for this government, we should start thinking in that direction, that if this government is going to aid me in this way, what can I do to enhance myself in this aspect? And one deficiency I have seen is in my years of doing business with people, you discover when you go to Muslims, you have this problem of, yes, they do this work, but they are not perfect in doing it. You'll be forced to now move on and go to non-Muslims in this same thing that Muslim brothers are doing. I think there is a huge knowledge gap, yes, skill gap that needs to be covered. I think people have been talking about pupillage. That's what we call it in my own field. Legal practice, we call it pupillage. People should learn, and if this is the direction government is going, people should try and learn things that are related to this. And it makes absolutely sense to me if they are talking about ICT, they are talking about agro-allied. Because in this present modern world that we are, this is not an agricultural revolution any longer. We are having ICT revolution. There are countries that the only thing they depend on is this ICT. So if we go towards this direction, it is going to be something that can change our situation as a nation. And we pray that Almighty Allah will help us.
Assalamu alaikum. I think the federal government's idea and template is a very wonderful starting point. But my own major concern is that we keep on exporting jobs to other countries. There's a lot of information on rice importation, sugar importation, and wheat importation. But it's a big shame that there are countries in Nigeria that import maize, because Nigerian farmers sometimes cannot meet their demands. There are companies in Nigeria that import tomatoes from South Africa. ShopRite, for example, Hilton, for example, they import tomatoes from South Africa. Even in our backyards, if we plant tomatoes, tomatoes will grow. We have no business importing this very, very common farm produce. So it is a very good thing that these products are on the banned list of Forex. The people who import these products cannot access Forex. And if they can't afford Forex, it means they have to source for Forex and import them, and it means that it will be more expensive. So one key area that people can go into, or companies can go into, with little financing is commodities. We should farm commodities, soya beans, maize, tomatoes, sesame seeds, ginger. There is a lot of market for this. No matter how small, it doesn't have to be medium or large scale. We can start small. Commodity trading, commodity cultivation is a huge, huge, huge aspect that we can invest on, especially when it comes to agro-allied industries. As we move on, we'll talk on other sectors. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I believe the government is taking the right step, because nowhere in the world today, in the 21st century, that it is the government's business to run business. It's always the responsibility of the private sector. What the government needs to do is to create the enabling environment, the right taxation, the right infrastructure and policies to make sure this private sector thrives. If we look inward Islamically, go back to the first generation, there was nothing like government-run business. You will hear the Sahabas used to go to farm, used to go and cut down trees. That is being an entrepreneur. They contributed to the state, not the state giving them handouts. Today we have become a generation looking out to handouts, either from our relatives or from the government. So what we are doing, it's the right step, or what the government is doing is the right step. Just that the problem again comes back to the knowledge. For every industry, there is a learning curve. If you don't know it, you can't do it. You have to learn it first. You have to know what you are doing first. You can't just come out of the hospital as a medical doctor and decide to be a farmer. You have to know what it means to be a farmer. You can't appear in the middle of the dry season and you want to plant maize. It can't happen. It's not magic. You have to know it. No matter how petty that work is, no matter how menial it is, you have to know. Even an ordinary bricklayer you see carrying a pan on his head filled with cement was taught how to carry that, was taught how to do the mix before he starts laying bricks. He must have been an apprentice elsewhere. So the learning curve is the most important thing we need, which is education and the knowledge of whatever sector we want to be in. Be it you are already an entrepreneur and you want to diversify and go into another sector, please try and know more about that sector you're trying to go into. If not, the little capital you have, you would lose it. So I think the government, even selecting some few millions, is a long way, is a lot. Because if you check the cost of doing those investments and making sure all those sectors are brought up, you see that it is very, very high. By the time you add and say the government wants to bring out 30 million out of poverty, I'm sure the government will go bankrupt. Nobody will get anything. Even in zakat, they said you should give it to a few people so that next year they will be able to give out zakat. So do you take ₦1 million and share it into 1,000 people and give them 1,000 naira? Or you take ₦1 million and give 10 people into 100,000. So that is what I see the government trying to do. And that's why they are concentrating on few sectors, 2, 3, 4 sectors, so that at least they perfect this sector. And then tomorrow, if they are still in government or if they are still in power, they can extend into another sector. Wassalam.
Assalamu alaikum once again. I think my own view here is that the government is not doing badly. At least the government is not coming out to tell us that it's going to provide or create 40 million jobs or 16 million jobs as against the 27 million that we are looking at. So if the government is saying that it's going to give 3.5 million jobs, I think it's a starting point. Whatever we want to do, it's always good to at least take a step. And when we are now taking this step, what take do we have on it? We are the ones that we need to look at where do we come in? How can we tap into what the government is doing at the moment? Like Brother Loyede said, it's not just about the government doing these things. On our own, what else can we do? So basically, before you can even tap into anything, where is the skill? Have you got the skill? We were talking about it yesterday, that to stand out or to be able to do well wherever you are, either employed or being an entrepreneur, you just have to have the skill. Do we have the skills now? It doesn't have to end in this administration. This administration can actually get you triggered to begin something. Who says you won't have better opportunity? Or who even says without government job you won't be able to do yours? You might not be able to key into this particularly if you are beginning to think about what you want to do now, and you're taking the first step now. But for those who are actually taking a step, look at it. Is it agro-allied you want to go into? Can you key into it really from what is going on at the moment? I think it's just an opportunity for us. And as Muslims, really, I think we're a bit backwards somehow. Things do not actually get to us until maybe when it's over. We do not, I don't know if it is deliberate that we just shy and relax and stay back, but I think it's high time we get up and we do something. Non-Muslims are actually doing things, like Dr. Pokwala said yesterday. Some non-Muslim actually had this kind of gathering. The same documents we have, they've actually sat down, got people in and out of the country to come and talk to their people for about 21 days. I think that's a whole lot. And now that we have started with this, I think it's a great step. We need to encourage this type of forum so that our lives can continue to improve. And like I said, it all begins with everyone here. We shouldn't just leave here and still remain the same. Let's begin to take that step. Let's contribute our own quota. Before we know it, it might just be us here. Get in touch to other people. Let people know and let them be aware. This is what is happening. If you have a Muslim brother somewhere who has a particular skill that is not here today, why not extend this information and equip them with what you think they need to get them started? The earlier we start doing things, the better for us as Muslim women. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Well, for me, I'm worried. Well, I agree with the strategic framework of the government, but I'm worried about our women. That's my only concern. Because in the next 5 years, we may still be saying the same story, we may still be here and talking. And what will make me to be happy going after this program is to have a workable strategy for us, so that it will not be a talk show again. Why I agree with the government pathway to job creation is because what we eat, we are heavily dependent on imports. So now let's say we want to produce it in-house. If we want to produce in-house, it's going to affect all other areas they want to touch, like infrastructure. Before you get to a farm, you need a motorable road. So I think all these four main parts, they are interrelated. So it's the way to go. Why I say I'm confused, I'm worried, because I've started the cluster development on, for example, on organic poultry I created. In the forum that was well publicized on our forum, I saw majority of people coming, they are non-Muslims. And right there, two non-Muslims gave us 2 hectares to start these clusters. So how will I be happy? So it is high time we just wake up. I don't want it to be a talk show. That's for me. Government is going in the right direction.
So it means you said you've been doing a lot of talk show and people are not taking action. Well, I think you are taking notes. You need to get back to them. But my concern has been that virtually everybody has actually mentioned something that has to do with skill. Skill set, he mentioned pupillage. Yesterday we talked about apprenticeship. We talked about internship. Somebody mentioned apprenticeship. Meaning that all of us are actually speaking to a solution. And that solution has been missing. Why is it missing? What is the way forward for Muslims now? You know, we need to be strategic about this. The type of job we have today, our type of certificate, does not correspond to the type of job we have today, leading to what we term as talent supply gap. We have a lot of that now. We have skill gap, and we have skill supply gap. There is difference between there is no job, and there are jobs, there are no people to do it, because they don't have the right skills. Please, can all of you from your background speak to the skill set? What are the skill sets for an entrepreneur using yourself or your background or your own industry as an example? Maybe you will be speaking to somebody that is sitting down here so that we will know practically how do I start. Skill sets. Let me start from Ajay again.
Okay, skills. Well, through my entrepreneurial journey, I've never learned how to be an accountant, but I can analyze figures. The first thing I did is I put myself in an entrepreneurial school. That's my technical background. But it is very key. You need to know how you manage business. You need to be committed and say you want to learn. Then I also learn from people that knows more than me. So every day you learn, and thank God we have technology. There's nothing you put on, there's nothing new under the sun when we have Google. So they are free online courses, they are everything. That is what you need to know about what you want to do and the entrepreneurial management. How to make money, 10 naira to become 100 naira. How to sustain that business. Financial planning is very, very key. Then I will recommend going further to make this action workable for after this city, that we need a business incubation kind of thing, maybe center, I don't know. Because I see a lot of organizations, they are sitting down here. But incubation center, when, I have this idea, okay, mentors like people that are here, okay, you can do it like this, you can package it like this. The government agency will work with the government agency to, okay, NAFDAC, okay, you can still be here, be doing it, you can sell your market. We just need to have an incubation center and also volunteering for people that even want to mentor. We need a lot of volunteers. So that's my own solution. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. For me, I think basically having a skill is key. I read telecommunication engineering, and today I'm a teacher. It was not actually because I wanted to become a teacher or I want to be in education field. One thing led to the other, and I just have to become a teacher somehow. And then being into it, I was opportune to attend a training from the first school of my employer, from the first school I got employment from. And then when I got there, this training, my eyes opened and I found out that it was just rubbish what teachers are doing. And that was the first point of call for me. That made, I now identify it as my own need. And from there, I took it up. I had the privilege of having fund or an easy access to fund. And then from there, I decided to train myself. From there, from that same school, my salary then, pardon me, was just 18,000 naira, but as this contribution we were doing, I think I did it for like a year, and I got my first laptop. It wasn't, aside from cyber cafe that I use computer, I do not know any other thing to do with a laptop. So what I did was, I started playing with it. I'll take a picture. I want to see how I can use Corel Draw to do it. I'll take probably a book. I want to replicate that book. I want to get the font. I want to align it the way it is. That was how it started for me. And you won't believe it. No one taught me how to use a computer practically, but I think I can really find my way around it. That's the first thing. So it is born out of interest. So that was the first step into me being able to use a computer, which led to what I use it for these days now. And then from looking at teaching, the courses I did, I found out that, okay, so many schools are lagging behind. The teachers will only make the children cram without any resources. They just go into the classroom, they teach, they talk to the children, and eventually the teacher just says, okay, any question, no question, the teacher leaves. So I just felt like, okay, we need to do something about it. I took it upon myself. I told you I have a bit of fund. So I started going from school to schools. I'll just ask you, are you interested? No charge, no cost. This is actually when I've been empowered with so many courses, so many trainings. In fact, these trainings, we don't even have them here. So if we look at what the government will really do, government is trying, but I'm not sure government is looking into the details of what is happening, especially in the education sector. They just will say NTI. Okay, the first postgraduate diploma I did was NTI. You won't believe it. In fact, I didn't even go to the class, and I think I made the highest point in my class. I actually read, but it wasn't as if I took it seriously. I was actually doing it alongside other courses, so I didn't pay more attention to it. All I wanted was, most places I go, they will ask you, would you have any certificate in education from here? They actually recognize what we have here than other ones that I was holding. So I had to just get that, all for getting sake. At the same time, I think I led the class, eventually without attending it. But what were we taught, even for those that even attended it? Nothing really. Like I said yesterday, it is just knowledge-based. When they get into the classroom, they don't know how to sit with the children. They don't know how to even talk to them. Hands-on activities, what is trending now. That is the only way for children to learn. We have different kind of learning style. We have different kind of learners, and we don't really pay attention to all of these things. Teachers just do their thing and nothing. So I just felt there is a need to get it out. And I didn't know what I just felt, let me just go out and see what I can do. Let me contribute my own quota to the side. So I was just jumping from one school. Eventually, the difference was, of course, since it is free, they started connecting themselves, and it grew bigger than me. And I found out that my family is actually lagging behind. My husband is not always around. So I was like, I have to step it down. Okay, let me just create value around this thing. Instead of doing it free now, because not just to train them, I would actually give them materials free. Laminating machines, give them different kinds of papers, all sort of things. So I just felt, well, why don't you just create value around it? And then it will reduce the number of people you have to address. And that was how I started it. So it's been a good journey. At the same time, I think the skill that I have is what has empowered me to be able to tackle all these issues. Another angle of it is I do not just leave the people that I train on my own, either you are paid or not. I will still go back because I don't want it to end there. I'm actually not looking at the teacher. I'm looking at the children receiving what is right for them to receive. Not that teachers will just get into the class. You can hardly see a teacher who will teach you a child that will not hit that child. And it's not worth it. It is not right. Aside from being in Nigeria, you have to beat. There are so many strategies to get children to do what you want them to do without you touching them. Most of us do not even know that as teachers. So a lot of angles here and there are missing that I just felt okay. So in a nutshell, it's just identifying the need in the society that led me to what I do. And I think so far we're not doing badly. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. As I mentioned while introducing myself, I'm a mechanical engineer by training. My first job was in construction. But as I was working, because it was a family company, one of my brothers was founding a telecom, and he invited me, okay, we want to go and seek for license at the NCC to start a telecoms company. Are you interested? Naturally, I am, because I love computers. I was exposed to it in the late 80s. All throughout my secondary school, I was into junior engineers and technicians and scientists club, something, JETS club, if anyone can remember it here. So I jumped on board. The first training I got was a vendor training, the company that is supplying the equipment. I went for training. And from there, I kept going for more trainings. But most of the trainings are skill sets I acquired by myself. I'm always online, always seeking out books to read and understand what does this mean, what does this do, what is this function, how do we solve this problem? Because in technology, you need a lot of information. With very good grades in certificates, we send them for training, they come back, they have the best grades, but practically they cannot put it into good practice. So for me, I've seen how skill sets and knowledge and qualification really gives you advantage. Even after the company became defunct and I found my own company, I've seen how it helps, because most of the time people I recruit is not based on the degree you have or 1-1 or 2-1. It's the skill sets you already have. Sometimes these skill sets are not said on a paper. Someone acquired it on his own. So can he show you? Can he do it? When he can, then you push him further so that he can get the certifications. Because a lot of these skill set certification, again, are very expensive. Sometimes you hear $300, $1,000. They are not.
And we live in a country or society whereby it is very hard to access information. Sometimes you're even trying to ask your friend, your family member, and they're hiding. You know, they don't want to be straightforward with you. So in my own career as an entrepreneur, one of the most difficult challenges that we have faced is accessing information. For example, when we started our gas retail company, it was very hard to get the right information, to get the right pricing of where to get gas from, to get the right checklist of DPR regulators so that they can certify your gas plant. So my advice to all of us here is that whatever industry you're going to work in, it is very important that you go out, search for knowledge, search for information, do a checklist and call it the A to Z of my business. If you do it, it will go a long way in helping you at each and every juncture of your operations. For example, as we're sitting here today, if we want to buy 200 sewing machines in Abuja, I don't think there might be anybody in this hall that can say this is where to go. But I can give you this information for free. Suleja Market. If you go to Suleja Market, you can get up to 1,000 sewing machines. But if you look for it in Abuja, you will not get it. So it is very important that each and every industry, business sector you're going to work in, try and do research. Ask people, seek for mentors, seek for peers, people who are in that business so that they can advise you. In Nigeria, when you go to a regulator like NAFDAC, like CBN, like even our brother who is here, when they sit down with you, they'll give you all the information you need. So every business you're going to do that involves a regulator, your first port of call should be the regulator's office. The front desk officer will give you all the information you need. The internet is a repository of knowledge. If you go to Google, there's so many things that you can search for and it can help you. So all you just need is to further ask someone to also explain it to you. But I say to you that knowledge, information is a very important and integral part of your business and part of your skill set. One last thing, if indeed we are true Muslims, if indeed we are true Muslims, we should not withhold knowledge. We should not withhold business knowledge, if indeed we are true Muslims. The only way we can help the Ummah to grow is to share valuable knowledge. Thank you.
I think for me, the problem we have is not about creating a novel idea. It's not about creating a new business per se. What we have is a deficiency of knowledge, of perfection. I feel very sad when I have to go to non-Muslims to do things that Muslims can do. Something as minor as printing, we still go to non-Muslims because they have people who have perfect kind of printing that we need. Coming to my own area of knowledge, the only thing I do is law. And when I came out from law school, I didn't just start my own law firm. I worked under someone trying to learn what does it take to become a good lawyer. I worked there for some time, and while working there, I discovered there was an area of law that I had interest in, property law. My employer then, who was a senior advocate of Nigeria, who had practiced for more than 30 years of his life, he used to tell us then that property law is for lazy lawyers. It's for lazy lawyers. He tells you what I do is litigation, and that is what I know. But after I started doing property law, and I was bringing returns to his law firm, he started having a different idea that, okay, so this might not actually be the way I thought it to be. So it is not just about being in that endeavor. You could actually go there and break some ice and see that this is a direction to go. But when you are establishing yourself as an entrepreneur, like I keep repeating, perfection is very essential. So we have to stay and learn under someone until we are absolutely sure we are more than halfway to achieving our perfection. Thank you.
Well, he said perfection. I want to take it further that it should be excellent. We should see Muslims doing things that are excellent. As in, when you say who has done this, they will, I want to see a situation whereby they will say, it must be a Muslim, the way this has been done. And I think it has a linkage with trust and integrity. When you say this thing will cost me 1,000 naira, and you know definitely it will cost you only 500 naira. If you learn how to steal 500 naira out of 1,000, you will learn how to steal another 200 naira from the 500 naira you're supposed to use for that job. So it will now cascade down to a poor quality job. I mean, it's making sense, including the issue of maid, housemaid in Nigeria. Many housemaid in Nigeria are imported. And I was privileged, no, I'm serious. I'm privileged to see an housemaid in Italy that was a trained housemaid from UK working in Italy. I mean, it's being paid in dollars because the kind of housemaid we are talking about is an housemaid that come into your house to not only train your kid, but to train the kid about some languages. They have Italian language, they don't speak English. So why must I go to UK to go and bring in an housemaid? Because I want my kids to understand English, apart from cleaning and some other things. So we use housemaid here for only crude work, no value addition. So, and that is why you get that kind of housemaid that will pack your gold and everything you have one day and run away. So you said there is no job, but I must confess, this particular housemaid is earning more than some MDs in Nigeria when you do the dollar conversion. And I was asking her, I said, I'm a proud housemaid. I trained as an housemaid in UK, and I have an international job in Italy, period. So really, I've asked it on the platform of, I've asked for that particular question, on the platform of B2B, that is there any institution in Nigeria that actually build capacity of people that are planning to become an housemaid? People are laughing at me. I said, well, this is another gap. Anyway, I'm coming back to you now for the next 30 minutes. Let's be rest assured, inshallah, we are going to go for Zoom by 1:30. You can check your time. Going to take like 20 or 30 minutes from you now to interact with them. Ask any questions that has to do with entrepreneurship. How do you start? Where do you go? Let me dish out this information again. From the presidency, they are looking at 4 pillars to drive the first sector they are talking about. The first one is the issue of policy. Policy issues like 100%, or let me say 90% government. Are you getting it? Another aspect they are looking at is the market access. That is going to be between you and government, 50-50. Government is looking for markets for Nigerian products. You yourself, before you venture into anything, you must be clear you must be clear about the market. You start from the market to build your business plan. That is the new way of doing things. Are you getting it? Then the third one is the issue of infrastructure. Around 80% government, 20% private sector because of PPP. But government will initiate a lot of them. The last one and the most important that government has identified now is skill. And that is 100% yours. Or let me say 80% yours, 20% government. Because government actually want to facilitate a lot of skills development center, including in the local government. They call it local empowerment center. In each local government of this country, around 774, thereabouts. And it is the skilled people that are highly skilled, that will be facilitating at this center. Nothing less than 2 people will be employed or be engaged by government that are going to be private sector people that are consultants in all these local empowerment center. So what skills can you take to a local people that you think today you can convert to money? So these are the thinkings I want you to have. I will call for questions and contribution now. So if you have anything to ask, so say, please, let me see your hands up so that we take the number. Then our panelists can actually react to it. 1, only 1 person. Okay, let me start from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start with that, please. Introduce yourself, ask the question, anything that has to do with entrepreneurship, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Lubaba to Isa. Our brother here made mention of Muslim brothers not doing too well in the skills they have acquired. We can see that in many churches, they try to equip their members with skill acquisition, which help them to perfect their skills. So now, we the Muslims, what are the way forward we are trying to take in these various organizations, like we have the MICA, the Islamic Youth League, the Street Dawah, the Bainakum. What are the way forward to solve this problem, sorry?
Quite sure we're going to give some answer. All right, number 2.
I'm Ademola Nojimdin, and I'm really happy to be in the midst of, this midst. Actually, I'm a graduate of University of Ilorin, and I'm happy seeing my people. Yes, I have interest in water, and it's something I like to do. So after my write-up and some other things, I took it to people. And as I went to a factory where that thing is being produced, and I was kind of taking through the machines, the other things that I need. So I'm getting to Abuja here. I met people like that. I said, come up with something. When I come up with what I have, they told me where to go. I go to BOI. As I have a participator like that, I was asking me that, even if you want to go into this business, do you have a plot of land? Do you have money? Do you do this? After that, I went to microfinance. They were still saying the same thing. So my main question is, even when you have the idea, you have the passion and everything, looking at our surroundings, it's been blocked. So how do we have the information and the finance? So that is my own.
Assalamu alaikum. Durazak Sultan is my name. I just got the information of this event this morning, I decided to come here. You, the panelists, have done a very good job. Alhamdulillah. I can see a mechanical engineer becoming an ICT expert and a communication expert. Also, the sister there, once an ICT expert, becoming an education consultant. I also see a very practical lady there doing well in agriculture sector, and a journalist too, becoming a human development expert. What I see in them is dedication. They realize they can add value to their life. You will all agree with me, Nigeria is a very difficult place to even create idea, implement it. All these business idea, government policy, we've seen it, we've had it. This is not the first time we are seeing something of this nature. Nigeria is a very difficult place. We talk about our education sector. A mechanical engineer just told us, he went to university, did a computer without seeing a computer himself. I did a course in university, what they call it, computer application. I got A in that course, but I did not even touch computer at all. This is reality on ground. The reality on ground is that, see these young people here, if given the opportunity, they will do better than any of us out there. We are seeing a lecturer there. They talk about ideas, information. The one I'm taking away from here is mentorship, apprenticeship. If 5 of them now can just pick 1 or 2 of these young persons, mentor them for 3 or 6 months, you see what these young people can turn into. I have been to university. I learned nothing from university. I used to tell my lecturers, I learned nothing. Yes, I learned nothing. That is the reality of things for you. Because what I learned when I was in primary school, they say commerce is now accounting, integrated science is now biology and medicine, social studies, they now group it to become law and other things. It was not what you learn in the 5 years you spend in university as a lawyer. It was the practice you had that made you a better lawyer, as you said. Right? So we need to really ask ourselves, the value addition, which school did Dangote go to? Let us ask. The Igbo man out there at Alaba doesn't need to go to university. What he needs to do is apprenticeship. And this, a Malam said, the Sahabas, which school did they go to? The process of Islam itself was an apprenticeship. God went through apprenticeship from a woman that later became his wife. You need to learn this thing from those who have been there. Even when we started from Ile Ikeu, we used to go to the Malam to learn the practical Ikeu, not the one we do nowadays. That's why the Al-Baraka is anyway. What I'm saying here is this, my brothers and sisters. What you learn, the best we can do is to pick 1 or 2 of these young people here. Give them 3 weeks or 6-month internship, mentorship, or apprenticeship. That is where to go. No matter all our Turenchi here, it's not going to work. Salam alaikum.
I think that's a very good one. Is there anybody still sleeping? Okay. I don't think people are sleeping again. We are sitting properly now. I think 2, 3 things has been said. We're going to take the last 2 ones. But we said it here yesterday. We said we don't want a situation whereby we are going to be doing capacity building, that we're going to be talking about the output. The output of many capacity buildings is the number of attendees and participants. Oh, it was a very wonderful, 1,000 people attended. Is that the end? So we're actually migrating. In fact, immediately since yesterday, we've started creating our online mentoring platform. We said it yesterday. That is the first level of outcome. After this again, we're going to have meeting with the participating organization to see how we can take this forum forward. You know, we are not talking about Maika, Bainakum now. No, these are common issues about Muslims. I mean, I don't want to know, maybe you are even from Islamic League now. Are you hungry? Yes. What is the solution? Empowerment. Is that right? Which type of empowerment? Halal way. How do I do it? This is the way. What's the strategy? Who is my mentor? Yes. Can I do it? I don't have finance. No, don't worry. This is where finance is. That is why we are here. May Allah assist.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Oloko Kuchewi. My question is about a country like Nigeria, which focuses on certificate. If someone has a talent or an idea in a different field, and the economy in Nigeria is not supporting that field entirely, like the mining sector, how does someone find and develop that idea personally, researches and places? Because the mining sector in Nigeria now only has oil. Other mining opportunities are not explored at all. And then for someone who is within a particular field and wants to go into another field, how do they, if you are employed in another field and you have an idea in another field, how do you link it up without like losing in both ways? Entrepreneurship is a risk, but how do you try to reduce the risk factor?
Thank you.
How are you come to that? Government private, we appreciate our panelists. And I can say you are the fortunate ones. I studied business administration and management sciences. I've ventured into a lot of businesses, partnership. But at the end of the day, we got hands burnt. Issue of cooperation, trust, and funds always go down the drain. A lot of fun. We have ventured into fishery, yam farming, ginger farming, few of it. What I now want us to work on this particular occasion is the idea my sister brought up. I've been discussing with her for some time, but businesses and time doesn't make us really agree. This business incubator center, people with like minds, the same ideas, and want to do something. So that in the course of moving around, we won't burn our hand too much before we got to where we are going. Allah make it easy for us.
Yeah, thank you. I think the panelists, you can react to any of this in just a minute, so that maybe we have more we can take from them. Anyone you want to react to that speaks to you, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Starting from what the last brother said, it is very essential for us to know that the starting point for us as Muslims, before we even become entrepreneurs, it's perfecting our attributes of being a Muslim, being trustworthy, being truthful. If we don't have this, there is no way we will be good in being an entrepreneur. There is no separation between Islam and entrepreneurship. Both are mixed together. We derive the same source of authority for both instances. Whether we practice as we do our normal salat, or we perform our distinct salat, our entrepreneurship, our source of authority is still the Quran and the Sunnah. So by the time you now start, you lack the trust, then you have failed as a Muslim and you have failed as an entrepreneur before you even start. And then from our brother that said he learns nothing from the university, I will totally disagree. For any kind of endeavor you want to do, knowledge, basic knowledge of certification is quite important. You will not even be given a chance to even show your skills when you don't even have the basic certificate in anything. Like my sister said, she has been into something, she's been doing it, but because everywhere she goes, they have her, ask her, where is your certification in this? no matter how someone wants to help you, if you don't have the basic requirements, you will not even be given the platform to even perform. And getting finances, we should stop having the ideas that we have to get the finance big and from a particular source. Like we were discussing ideas some times ago. If we decide now that as our respective organizations, we have individuals who work in places. There has been argument forth and back about is our salaries as salary earners, is it zakatable? But let's assume and we believe it is zakatable. If we pull together all the zakats from these individuals that are working in these respective organizations and we decide to split it among some few people within those organizations, we will get finances for this kind of small projects that we are talking about. And our sister has said, how can we learn? There is no way, it's not about mentorship. I differentiate between mentorship and apprenticeship. I would define it for you. For me, my mentor could be somebody I love. He might be in any field of endeavor. I love this person is good. He does his thing this way. I love him as a family man. I love him as an engineer. But that might not be my field of endeavor. Yes, he might be my mentor in the field of, okay, I love him. I love his akhlaq. That might be different. But in our area of endeavor, we have to learn as apprentices under someone. No matter how irrelevant, no matter how small, we are being paid. Our intention is, I want to learn. I want to be perfect in my area of endeavor, not just about, I come out today and I want to work in this field of endeavor. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. For the Business Incubation Center, all of us gathered here today in this room at this moment, this is already a business incubation center. That's why we're here. And all we need to do now is to institutionalize this gathering, and then it becomes our own center. It can be done, it's possible. The CBN has what it calls Entrepreneurship Development Center. I think there are 6 of them scattered around the country. If you check on their website or you check on the internet, you'll find their addresses and you can visit them for any help that you need. There was also a question by a brother who is interested in water business. I'll give you my card so that we can continue discussing and let's see what you have. Also, another brother asked about how do you go from one field to another, especially when you have skills in a certain sector. Well, I believe that Allah's time is the best. And for each and every idea, Allah's appointed time shall come. You can start in a field and grow yourself, and when the time is right, you can now move to another field. The most important thing is self-development. You can have certification in a certain field, but if you still have a strong passion in another field, you should not stop from developing yourself. We can also talk more so that we can have a better idea of what sector you're talking about. Our sister asked about, what I noted here is that she was asking about groups, whether under different umbrellas we can begin to come together and talk about this on a more frequent basis. We don't actually have to wait for these groups. We can look for like minds and begin social media groups like on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and see the ideas that can collectively come out of these groupings. These, I think, are my reactions to the questions that was asked. Wallahu alam.
Assalamu alaikum. For skills enhancement that the sister mentioned, mentorship is a very important thing. Skills development is a very important thing. Incubation is a very important thing. But for that to be successful, you need willing partners, not just those who are going to impart the knowledge, those who also need the knowledge. It's not just in being an entrepreneur that you have to have a lot of endurance. Even in learning, you have to have a lot of endurance. So we have tried that before, and we have seen how those who were trying to help react to it. They come day 1, day 2, day 3. So far as they don't hear this magic solution you are giving to them that everything works out of the box automatically and the money starts entering the account, they are not interested and they disappear. And for you, the time you are dedicating, the resource you are dedicating becomes wasteful. So as our brother, the lawyer said, excellence as a Muslim is the most important thing. Excellence guides everything for a Muslim's life. You have to be sincere. You have to be able to hold trust. Amana. In every business, amana is the most important thing. If two Muslims come to form a business or a transaction, it is commanded upon us that we should write it down. What is that? Business plans. Business plans. We have to have it. Then we have to have MOU. When you go to register company in CAC, they tell you your MEMAT. You see your MEMAT. That is not just for CAC. It's a binding document saying, as a Muslim, these things I list here are the businesses I'm going to do nothing out of them. So when you come together as the partners to that company, you should try and write something strong like that to bind you together. And in Islam, if two parties sit down and write that, Allah says, I am the third of them. Which means what? Some of our Imam says that this means that Allah's barakah is the third thing there. Until one of you cheats or breaks that amana, then I remove my entire blessing in that transaction. That is it for a Muslim. So not only for the business, when you are coming to learn about the business, for the person who came to dedicate his time to teach you, you to dedicate your time to listen, not to answer back or not to be disgruntled and leave. So inshallah, I think this is a right step that incubation will start from there and mentorships will develop. Mentorship is a very personal thing. You have to see a willing student and then a willing teacher takes you as a mentee to him. For financing that the brother was talking about water plant, financing is generally a difficult thing because whoever is giving you money for your business is thinking of how does it come back. So they always want collateral. They always want something back for it. So only when we strengthen Islamic financing will we start finding ease in it. Even in that, it's not so simple. There are several ways for you to finance your thing, Murabaha, Ijara, and so many formulas you can follow to finance your projects that are easier than Bank of Industry, but still the industry is not so strong. Apart from running a telecoms company, I'm also part of a private equity firm, Anthill Capital. We invest in small businesses that already exist, maybe 3 years alive, and they have some revenue and so on, and we look into it and we try to make sure they don't die off. Wallahi, majority of those businesses we end up investing in are non-Muslim businesses. And our limited partners who we gather funds from for the next 5-10 years to make a return for them are 90% Muslim. And then here we are, we can't find proper Muslim businesses to invest in. So is that not loss for the Ummah? And most of the problem you find when you call a business to invest in, they don't even have books, no accounting, nothing, no business process, no ethics. The pocket of the proprietor or the owner is the same thing as the company's account. He can't separate the two. He picks from there. So how do you do due diligence and invest in that business? So we have to learn a lot in building, managing, and sustaining a business for the long term. It's not just to eat today and eat tomorrow. When you're building a business, think of it 10 years down the line. After you are alive, will it still exist and so on and so forth? That's a sustainable long-term business. And for skills in field, for the person that spoke about mining and skill set, my immediate younger sister is a geologist by training, petroleum geology. And since when she graduated, she couldn't find a job in petroleum geology. In fact, when she was in school, she was the first student ever African student ever to be inducted into the American Petroleum Geology Society. First, because of a paper she wrote. So you would think someone like her will immediately find a job, even in the oil and gas sector, because that's what she specialized in. So it's not that. Sometimes it's as the brother said, it's Allah's doing, you know. You pray, but you don't sit and fold your arm. There are so many artisanal miners out there. Those ones, they didn't even go to primary school, but they know how to dig for gold in Birningwari and Zamfara. Why don't you go and see what you can enhance in that? How can you get your own mining license to start exploring rather than sitting and waiting for government to get you a job? So many things we can do even without having cash at hand at the time you want to do it. You can start by trying to gather the right information to do those things. And for also university, there are two sides. I agree with the brother, I disagree with him. Sometimes people go to university and graduate, and I agree with him that it doesn't add value, or it did not add value to him because maybe he never used any aspect of what he qualified in. In so many cases in Nigeria, that is it. Someone studying agriculture, and there was a time during Obasanjo, I think, the FHA was being run by someone who lectured in agriculture because he was the vice president's friend. And he ended up firing the most talented architects Federal Housing Authority has, which is a housing organization. But here he was firing architects. So sometimes you find people with a qualification in the wrong place, and the qualification doesn't kind of serve them. But it does. It has a lot of advantages, because I've seen also situations where someone with a qualification, a Muslim, is sick to be put in a position somewhere, and we can't find the Muslim with that right qualification. So many times. There are places like states like Sokoto, Zamfara, Yobe. Up till today, there are quotas in the CBN. Places like NICOM and so many places are not filled because people with the qualifications that are needed to fill those slots are not there. So it's very important, even for the sake of having the jobs for the Ummah and securing it. Those are slots for Muslims. Let's try and have those things. Let's try and have those qualifications. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm going to start with the way forward in building skills among the Muslims. I'm going to give an example. This happened to me when I started the social enterprise I was doing. I was actually going around. It was free of charge, and I was even using my own resources to improve your own standard. I went to Muslim schools and I was turned down. I didn't get to know many of them. So I think I was in 2 schools, precisely, Muslim schools. And I was like, I would like to train your teachers on all this, about this. I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that. I was turned down. And I was told, don't worry, we'll get back to you. I went back again and I was like, okay, when should I would like to restructure myself. Let me just program my holiday. When do you think you'll be able to invite me? When will I meet your teachers and the rest? And I was told that I shouldn't bother, in a nutshell. And that was why I left. And the non-Muslim schools, in fact, took the advantage. The moment they heard someone was coming, in fact, not even 1 or 2, what I found out was that when you go to one, they talk to themselves, and they probably would even merge about 4 of them together, and then they have the opportunity. Whatever I'd probably taken there, they share it among themselves and they go. So I think we really are not that ready. Maybe we need to change our mindset. We're talking about psychological empowerment. We need to empower ourselves psychologically. What exactly do we want to do? Things are moving past us, and things are actually leaving us way behind. What are we going to do? So it's not just about us asking the question, but are we actually ready for this? So maybe this has actually sprouted the interest in us now. We want to wake up and then we want to start doing something. Please, let it not end here. So many people would say, yes, I'm going to do this. It's a good opportunity, or I enjoy the program. What do you want to do yourself? People are there. Resources are there. Are you tapping into it? That is also one part of it. And then for financing businesses, I think we need to create more awareness on Zakah. We have people with privilege, when it comes to financial resources. It should go beyond rice and maize now. Let's see who we can develop. Let's see whom we can give our zakat to, no matter how little it is. She started a business with 10,000 naira. She's talking about millions now. So why not give someone that zakat? Who knows what that person is going to do with it and the returns it's going to bring in the long run. So then sourcing for fund also, like someone had already said something that we'll meet, the two of them should meet. This is a very good basis for that. We can also meet online like they are already working on. You get to put your questions out there, share your views with people, come out with what it is that is bothering you or you think is holding you back, and you'll see how far we can go. If he had sat down and he's like, oh, I'm shy, I can't ask a question, who knows what would have happened to him? He would have just returned home just the way he came. So we need to speak out, we need to talk. Stop hiding and let's stop shying away from things. And the issue of mentorship, for as many people that are interested and willing, please, I'm very available, education line, at any time, no cost, please. If I could do it then to people that are non-Muslims, I was actually looking for Muslims who are willing and interested. I couldn't really get, if I got just one female sister who is doing very well now, that's all I could get. So if you still want to do more, that's my own contribution to my own religion. So if you want, if you are interested, please, I am very available. And we have other mentors also. He is one very good business mentor. And I think, like he said, we are going to also be online somehow. You can still tap into that mentoring forum also. Then for someone who said, for this brother who said moving from one field to the other, I don't think it's a difficult thing. Depends on what you want to do. Have you found your interest in it? Have you made your choice? Have you made a decision, okay, this is where I want to go? Do you have the skill around what you want to do or that field you are looking at? If you do not have the skill, are you willing to learn the skill? Being an intern, it's also a very good way to go. Look at where you can go and learn. Free. In fact, I know some places still in education, when you go, I can take you there if you want. And then some schools, big schools in Abuja, and they just even still encourage you with probably 10,000 naira transport every month. Yet you'll be able to learn so much from them. I also encourage that because before you can be anything, aside from the certification you get in the school, you still need to learn the skills and acquire these skills. So look at where you think you can function well, look at that thing you think you want to move into, and if already you have, why not look for people that are doing well already in that field and just go into it, do your internship, learn from there, and then you can actually start something of your own later. So, yes, I wanted to make myself as an example again here. Telecommunication engineering into teaching. It's just because I am able to get to where I am, alhamdulillah, because whatever I do, I want to do it well. So regardless of being a teacher, and the teacher said something yesterday, please, I'm talking more about teaching now. Maybe the women will be interested. The teacher, Miss Rukoya or Mrs. Rukoya that was here yesterday, said she's a teacher and she's well paid. Teaching has gone beyond poor people's job. You'll be so surprised the last salary I earned as a teacher. Hundreds of thousands is what I earned as a teacher. Just a teacher, not any special kind of teacher, but just a teacher. So if you want to do anything, look for what things that would make you unique, that would keep you higher than your colleagues or your mates. What is that thing that will make you special? You can read as many things as you want to read, but if you do not actually have that skill, you are still like them and you won't be able to be productive. So I think I'll still like to still round up using the skills. We all need to acquire one skill or the other. For us to actually thrive in anything we do, skill is key. Do not just pack papers. I'm sure Nigeria is going to go beyond certification now. So many people can't even defend their 2-1. PhD holder, you'll be so surprised, can't do anything. So very soon, I think the private sector is already doing that. You don't get job based on who you know. It's based on what you can do to help my business grow. So if we keep doing that, government too will see a need. Definitely, we are getting towards that, and then it has to be based on credibility. What can you do? What can we get from you? So if it's getting towards that, we still can't sit back and then think things will come to us. Not because you know someone in House of Assembly, or my father is the chairman of that organization of this committee, and then it's automatic I get it. It has to be on what can you do. So if you don't have a skill now, the earlier you start doing something about it, the better. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I won't talk too much because they've all touched the key area in terms of reacting to my brother. What I'll just add is professionalism, reporting promptly, and structure in any partnership you are doing. My partnership has earned me for me to be great today, because I learned from all my board of directors, because I follow the professionalism that is in the business. If you don't give business the right thing that it needs, it will fail. So on my sister, personally, I will ask you, personally yourself, if you want to move forward, you do istiara, you keep it simple and start. Do not be scared of failure. If you don't fail, you will not learn. You fail forward. Then, I've already mentioned business incubation. If we don't have resources to set up business incubator is very robust. We can partner with the existing incubators, because for now, I know most of the incubators that presently, they are not really working as supposed to be because of lack of funding. So that's one thing I found. And even the EDS that is there, are they doing what they are supposed to do? Maybe they will change now. So, my brother, we need to start thinking out of box. You said water. What type of water? Now, we have mineral water. We have different kinds of water. Do we have it in Nigeria? And I know these hotels, they may be looking out for different kinds of water. You may not necessarily need to have all these facilities. What you can just do is that partner with an existing water. This is what I can bring. You learn about the kind of water you want to make. The kind of, even the packaging that you do is different from this normal one you are seeing. To make your own different, we need to start being innovative and thinking out of box. Celebrities spend a lot of money on water. So just do more research on this aspect. So anything you are doing, it may be water, but what kind of water? So on my brother too, when you want to take any skills, you need to first of all know your strengths. Where am I good at? And if you are on a particular industry, which particular area do I want to focus on? I'm in feed manufacturing business, but I've made myself to know that I specialize in fish feeds. So in Abuja, if they want to make fish feed, they say, oh, there's one woman there, because I've said that I've taken it as a core area. Business is so broad, but there's need for specialization. So on kind of financing, I've never been to bank for borrowing on interest. I've used my close people to get funds using Murabaha. There was a time I need to do branding for my packaging bag. I just thought of what can I do? Okay, I took the invoice from the manufacturing company that I just presented to some of the investors. Can you do this bag for me and sell it back to me? That kind of branding has enabled me to be in the market because of the kind of branding I want for my business. I didn't go to bank, and I was able to pay their money as the time due. That's how I've been financing that type of business. So you don't need to, if you need 10 million, you say you need 10 million from bank. You can break your finances into bits and actually get financing for each of them. Thank you.
I think problems are being solved little by little. Are they communicating to you? I promise 1:30 that we'll go for prayer. Inshallah, we'll still go immediately now. What I will request from them is that, like we did yesterday, we have 4 syndicate groups. We are going to have smaller groups, because you know what I realized yesterday? I will beg them not to go yet. They will finish their work by 4 o'clock today, inshallah. Inshallah? Answer me now, my panelists. Okay, do you know the essence of that? We realized yesterday that majority of these people sitting down here does not have that ability to speak up. In a closer group, they will tell you their problem. And they did it a lot yesterday. And we have a rapporteur that now told us what happened in each of the groups. Do you know we now learn from ourselves? All those people that were here yesterday know how to write a very good CV, how to even behave at interview. Are you getting it? The kind of shoe you take to an interview. Why is you use some wristwatch and not that other type? Abi? Am I right? So we are coming back after Zul to do that for like an hour, after which you people can actually go. May Allah put barakah in this effort. We are moving into the next level, inshallah. All these people you are seeing here, inshallah, we're going to get their contact. We are creating the first online mentoring platform for Muslims. Let's just be talking. You wake up, the easiest asset everybody has now is your handset. And the idea you have been thinking about, you just dreamt about, just drop it on the platform. Somebody will answer you, inshallah. Don't think, I've not seen that sister. And all of them can be anywhere in any part of the world. But with the social media, they will look at it and see what they can say to you. So that is what we want to do going forward, inshallah. May Allah assist us. So let's just go for our break now, inshallah. Take your lunch, do your prayer, and by 2 o'clock, let's resume back. Assalamu alaikum.